Hello and welcome, or welcome back if this is not your first time here. I'm here with a Tarot and Oracle card reading for you, which is going to be covering Sunday the 26th of January right through to Saturday the 1st of Feb. It's the last week of January. For some of you it might have felt like it's lasted an age. But we are now moving into February. Don't forget, we have got all the planets aligning in the skies this week. So if you do have a clear sky, go out and have a look. I had a look yesterday and I could see Mars and Jupiter, but the houses were in the way. I couldn't quite see the rest of the sky. So I'll have to get out somewhere quite open and see that this week. And I hope you get a chance to see it too. Okay, I'm going to start with the Rider-Waite. I think I started with them last week as well. So let's see who comes out to give us a theme for the week. Well, that's beautiful, isn't it? What a lovely start to our reading. We've got the 10 of Cups there. I'm not going to say too much about that just at the minute. I'm going to pick a card from this other pack as well, my Crystal Vision pack, and see what comes out with them. Okay, we've got a watery, emotional week this week. We've got the 10 of Cups and we've got the 5 of Cups. Okay, so, you know, cups, emotions are funny, aren't they? We can be one thing 1 minute and then another the next. And I think, you know, on any given day, you could probably recognise a time when you're feeling quite joyful and then a time when you're really just not quite getting it and want a little moment alone. Our emotions come from all different places, don't they? People can trigger our emotions, memories, excitement. You know, we can think about the future and get very excited. I do feel like there is a calling here to be present and to be grateful for maybe what we've got rather than focusing on what we haven't got. If we're looking at the 5 of Cups, I mean, there are lots of different emotions for both of these cards, as you would expect with any cup cards. But if we're focusing on lack, what we've lost, what we no longer have in our lives, that can be a very dark and lonely space. And even though in this card, we've got these lovely little angels, I don't know if you can quite see, there's 2 little angels there offering that lady cups, offering that lady other emotions. You know, don't be sad. Come on, look at what you have got. Look at what's over here. But sometimes we're just in that space. Now, I want to say here, sometimes we just jump on that emotion train and go wherever it takes us, don't we? But we are actually in control of our minds and our emotions. And if we're feeling something or thinking about something that's making us feel really, really sad and down, we do have the choice to you know, make a switch, choose a different cup, be grateful. You can't be grateful and anxious at the same time. You know, and that's a very good way of getting out of those slumps that we can possibly get into. And I'm not knocking them, because sometimes, you know, we just can't help ourselves. We are just in a space where we need to acknowledge those feelings. But I feel the fact that they're the 5 with the sort of sadder image of these cards, that reminds us that it's temporary. It should be temporary. So if we're feeling a little bit, you know, fed up with ourselves or you know, looking back at the past and there's regret, or, you know, just thinking about things that make you a little bit miserable, it's a good time to acknowledge that things have changed or could change, or you'd like them to change, depending on what's kind of going on in your life. So I do feel, you know, when we have these times, remind yourself that it's temporary. Remind yourself that that feeling won't last forever, and that there are these happier times as well that are on offer to us, which is shown with that 10 of Cups. Right, I'm going to use these energy cards now, and I've got another Archangel. Now, last week we had Archangel Raphael in the angel cards, if you remember. I'm really drawn to the fact that this particular Archangel Gabriel is residing over our throat chakra. You can clearly see that, can't you? That blue energy here. And I feel that that is a link to these 2 cards. We've got the 5 and the 10 of Cups saying, speak out, you know? What makes you sad? What makes you happy? is there something that makes you feel like that, that talking about it could change? It could be talking to a counsellor or your boss if you've got a little bit too much work and you're overwhelmed. It could be your family going, look, you know, the dynamics now, we've all shifted in age or responsibilities. Something needs to shift because I'm not coping very well with what's going on in our home. You know, that happens, doesn't it? We live with people for decades sometimes, and of course we all change and shift and grow in those decades, and sometimes habits don't serve us anymore, and we have to kind of change things around, you know. Or it could just be, look, I want this more in my life. I'm going to spend more time with my family, having that conversation with your boss about work-life balance because actually this is more important to you. Making some lovely plans, thinking about what you could do with people that you love and care about to just make your life even happier. It makes you happy, go and do it. Right, let's see where we're going to go next. Let's pick a spirit animal. And I'm using the tarot pack today as opposed to the oracle cards. So we'll get another tarot message along with these animals as well. And I'm very excited to see who comes out, because I haven't used this pack for a while. Ooh. Sacred Spinner, the spider. Not just a spider though, is it? There's a little cat there looking at what he's doing. That's just reminded me of that episode of Friends when Rachel gets a cat, doesn't she? And it looks just like that. I love this. This is a Major Arcana card. I've not seen this one for a very long time. In fact, I'd forgotten it was here. So the spider is number 10 in the Major Arcana. He's the sacred spinner of life, I guess. You know, he's using that wheel to spin his web. And you can see that thread there on the back of them. I wonder what the significance of the cat is with this. Is he just watching from afar? I can't imagine that he's the cat would see the spider as prey. But it does seem like a bit of a weird pairing. So maybe there's a link to that you will resonate with. Maybe you will have a very strange encounter with somebody that you don't normally come into contact with, which will shift your life a little bit. It's interesting that we can't see whether that wheel is actually propped up against anything. If it was, it'd be a really safe space for that spider, wouldn't it? Because flies would fly in and they'd catch their food. If it isn't, that wheel is just going to roll and roll and roll, and that poor spider's just going to have to cling on for dear life and go with it. And that pretty much is the theme of the Wheel of Fortune in tarot. It is, fate comes in and shoves us where we need to go. But maybe, if that happened, this spider would be better placed for having that web. Who knows? It's a very, I'd love to see your take on that actually. Everyone's going to have a slightly different take depending on their perspective of life. You might feel that you are that spider clinging on for dear life as that wheel rolls down a hill somewhere. Or you might feel that the idea that he's actually, or she, is making a home for themselves, making something for themselves that's a little bit more in line with their needs and what they want. You may feel like you're the cat looking in on somebody else's world and how hard they work, and you're actually inspired by that spider. There's a very well-known saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I can't remember which king that watched the spider and came up with that conclusion. Google that one too. Full of information today, aren't I? But I love the pattern that this spider is making. It's unique to them, and I feel like that's a real shout out to us and our own uniqueness. You do you make your own web in the way that you want to make it and what is right for you. But certainly the universe is coming in to tell us that something's definitely going on. And obviously with the Archangel Gabriel, that throat chakra again, maybe these two do need to have a little chat. Maybe that cat can help the spider in some way. Who knows? Right, we've got lots of planets to look up in the sky this week as they're all aligning, as I mentioned earlier. So let's just have a look at the astrology cards. So we've got an interesting one I've not seen before. We're getting all sorts of new cards coming out or revealing themselves. Sometimes cards do stay silent or absent from your practice, and then they all pop out and it's like a whole new energy and a whole new era. So maybe that's what's happening with these cards today. I don't know much about this, but it's about ancestral healing. So I'm going to read from the book, Tana's book, because she knows a lot more than me about astrology. But Nessus is an asteroid, or it's the asteroid of ancestral healing, and is linked to revenge, betrayal, mistrust and guilt. Oh, brilliant. I do feel like that ties in with this Five of Cups then, maybe where this energy's come in, maybe where the throat chakra's coming in a little bit, and maybe about shifting that space and energy away so that we can have a happier life. Again, this is about moving as well, isn't it? That's a 10, and obviously we've got the 10 of Cups. So maybe we need to deal with those difficult things so we can move on once and for all. Okay, I won't read all of this, but I think the main gist here is it's activating our shadow side, and we can do shadow side, you know, shadow work alongside just our everyday life. It's amazing how we can multitask. You don't have to just go and live like a hermit in a cave for a month. You can do it and still get your washing and your dinners done. But it sometimes is linked back to the past, ancestral wounds, maybe past lives, or just learned behavior or things from your own childhood. So this is things coming up to cleanse, I think, in a certain way. Okay. You have drawn this card for perhaps what is coming up for you right now feels deeper than just you. Definitely is a shift in the energy. So that does So that does seem a little bit linked into the cards that we've got today. So when it comes to Nessus, healing has to happen in its own divine timing. It's hard when we have to just go with that divine timing, isn't it? There is a limit to how much we control. Be aware of this. Wounding is the first step. And after that, it's up to your soul journey to pave the way. Going back to our little spider card here, you know, that he is trying to control his circumstances, but he's made that on a web. He's made that web on a wheel. Things are going to be out of his control. And sometimes when we do speak our truth, the reactions that we get from other people, not in our control. We can't do anything about it. So yeah, there's a real link to our emotions this week, isn't there? So, but I do feel it's to shift stuff out because we've got some amazing new energy coming in for February. So what better time to do it than as we move towards the end of January. Okay, let me have a look now at the last message for today. I'm going to pick another angel card for you. I think it's always nice to leave on a message from the angels. Oh, okay, we've got Vanessa, which is interesting because my last client who's just left is also called Vanessa. So quite a coincidence there. To make your decision, ask yourself which way brings me closer to my divine purpose and what takes me away from it. In times of transformation or change and or uncertainty or dilemmas, it's always a very good way to sort of decide what's right for you. And I'll take you right back to these two cards as well. Which one of those emotions will help you towards your divine purpose? You know, when we're working on a higher vibration of gratitude and joy and abundance, we get things coming in for us, aligning with our soul purpose. When we're in a darker, heavier energy, we don't. We kind of get a little bit stuck or regress. So there is this aim of, yes, doing the shadow work, but it's necessary to clear out and then see a much more clearer idea of why we're here and what we're here to be doing. So wow, okay, another week where we perhaps reveal or understand ourselves a little bit better. 2025 is going to be quite a major pivotal year, I think. So yeah, let's get all this stuff out the way in January and get on and have an amazing year, shall we? Have a wonderful week. I'll be back again next week with another reading for you. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.